It's JP the Outlaw, the voice that makes him moist, your favorite color commentator, here to give you my review and reaction to Battleground, WWE Battleground, July 23rd, 2017. I want to start off this podcast with, this is one of the worst fucking pay-per-views that SmackDown has ever produced. Especially for a Philadelphia crowd. They was live in the Wachovia Center. Of course, my hometown. I will be critical because of it being my hometown, and I think they could have did a lot better with the talent that they had on this card. Let's start it off. The pre-show: Todd Dillinger versus Aiden English. Aiden English picks up the win. Now, in my prediction episode, I predicted a lot of these matches. I think I was like 3 and 4. I think a lot of these matches I went the opposite way, only because of previous booking and where they stand now within the company. I feel as though certain people should be moving up to better storylines, or at least to number one contender status on their own, not without a cheating way, not without a dirty pen or something like that. So take a look at this Aiden English match between Todd Dillinger. Nothing really to ride home here. Aiden English was somewhat in control the whole match. I don't like Todd Dillinger losing to Aiden English. I look at Aiden English as an enhancement talent, and I look at Todd Dillinger as the future of the WWE, especially in the mid-card. Great match. I'm not going to go over the breakdown. It went the distance on the pre-show, but of course, Aiden English picks up the win. First match of the night, the tag team match, the New Day versus the Usos. I went with the Usos. I seen the last couple of weeks, I think, the New Day, the Usos got the better hand of the New Day. The last times they met, the last time the New Day and the Usos met was both in singles competition. Jimmy versus Xavier Wood, and Jay versus Kofi Kingston. So, both times the New Day picked up the win. Ideally, the way the WWE works on the go-home show, if you lose on the go-home show, you win at the pay-per-view. The only difference that I'm having with the New Day, and I feel as though, okay, the New Day should have been broke up before they even got to SmackDown. I think the New Day should have been separated. They did a couple of weeks on Raw. You could have had them blow up. You could have put Xavier Woods, had him cut some pounds off, put Xavier Woods inside the Cruiserweight division, send Big E over to SmackDown, and let him be inside of the Intercontinental division, or the U.S. division now. And you could have done with Kofi Kingston. Kofi you could do anything with. Kofi's one of them guys. He can eat losses. He can eat wins. I think the last time I seen Kofi in a big predominant light, big production light, was when he went up against Randy Orton. And Randy Orton was the leader of Legacy. But, great match. The Usos looked like they was in it all the way into the end. I like the New Day. I like their their moves in the ring, their ring moves, the ring set. I like the way they I don't like the way they carry themselves. It's a little too funny. And I can't stress that enough. If you want to be taken serious, and I think the last time they had the New Day in a serious light is when they went up against Bray Wyatt and them. I would have did it totally different. Of course, I would have let the New Day, I would have let the Usos hold on to the titles one more time, forcing them to have a 3-way rubber match, or their third match, which will be their rubber match, at SummerSlam. I think it would have made for a better turnover, them gaining the tag team titles for SmackDown, just like they had the tag team titles for Raw. So, yeah, I don't know how long this title reign is going to be. I'm not against the New Day having the titles. I just don't think they should still be together. And that's just my opinion. Moving on to the next match, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Baron Corbin. Now, I went Nakamura in this match because I was more curious on how they were going to book both these guys. Both of them look dominant. Like I said in the prediction episode, if you haven't watched the prediction episode, please go back and take a look at it. Baron Corbin has been on the uprise for the past 3 years. He's been featured dominantly in NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. He's a former Intercontinental Champion, and he's the Money in the Bank holder for the Money in the Bank briefcase. So, how do you have him lose? And how I fantasy booked it, I would have did Shinsuke going for the Kinshasa. Baron Corbin completely ducking the Kinshasa, turns Shinsuke around, hits him with a low blow, of course wins the match. Now, they still went with the low blow idea because he went for the inverted, I think that's the inverted suplex, where he throws you over the top of him. He does some cool shit with his hands. He stands up and then hits you with a Kinshasa. As he was going for it, Baron Corbin swept his legs. Looked like he was going for a leg sweep, but he hit him with a low blow, which caused Shinsuke Nakamura to win the match. But you just threw Baron Corbin under the bus the way it was done. I would have had Baron Corbin come out looking strong and also not winning the match. He probably would have took the loss, but not winning the match. I would have had him lose the match on a disqualification from a Dolph Ziggler or somebody of that nature that's trying to make a name for themselves on SmackDown Live. But that's how I would have did that. Next match is the women's match. The number one contender 5-way elimination match. And this was a pretty decent match for all the women. I like what they're doing with the women. We could do less of the 5 ways and the multi-women matches. We could do less of that SmackDown. I know you're better than this. This is just something to give the women to do. Naomi was on commentary, of course. I went with Charlotte going into this. Also, Lana was my sleeper. Lana was my sleeper. I felt as though the WWE could have had her earned her opportunity this time going into SummerSlam, and then you got Tamina as the bodyguard. Taking the title off of Naomi probably wouldn't have been the best move, but I would have considered it going into SummerSlam. But the biggest story here is Charlotte, man. I think Charlotte is on a decline as far as her career right now, moving from Raw to SmackDown. Charlotte was more dominating on Raw than she is on SmackDown. I feel as though Raw, they used her up as much as they could. And before we keep giving her title reign after title reign after title reign, let's put a little gap in there. Okay, I still believe Charlotte will eventually get the women's title on SmackDown. I truly believe that. I think it's going to take a little longer than what everybody's expecting. Of course, Natty picks up the win as far as all of the eliminations go. Tamina was first. Then it was Lana from Becky Lynch with a disarmer to both women. Then you had the breakdown between Natty and I think it was Becky Lynch. Between Natty and Becky Lynch, I think Natty goes for a quick pin, 1, 2, 3. Becky Lynch is eliminated. That leaves Natalia. I think it was Charlotte who pinned. No, it was Natty. Charlotte comes in the ring, goes for a big boot, knocks Natty off of her equilibrium, and Natty then again, of course, goes for a roll up, but she's so close to the turnbuckle. Charlotte hits her head on the bottom of the turnbuckle, finish rolling her up, picks up the win by grabbing the tights, and that was pretty much the match. I like Natalia. I like Natalia as a face versus a heel. I think Natalia could be doing a lot more for her brand. Now, how do you put Natalia over? Of course, going into SummerSlam, you have to have her looking dominant, have her fighting the elite women of SmackDown. I wouldn't mind seeing her against a Charlotte one week, a Becky Lynch the next week, and maybe even a Maria Kanellis, because she is in the women's division. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing any of that. Next match, Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles for the United States Championship. I am extremely upset about this. It makes no fucking sense on taking the title off of AJ Styles. You just gave it to him in Madison Square Garden in a dark match. Why re-give the title to Kevin Owens if Kevin Owens is hurt? Now, granted, he only had a finger injury. This is the first match I've seen him without having it wrapped up. Also, I think he's recovered from the ladder match with all the bad bumps that he took. So, I think he's ready. I think he's ready to go out there and perform at a high level. I just don't think it was time. You just gave AJ Styles the title 2 weeks ago. Now, if you're going to flip-flop between these two, make it interesting. Because AJ should have won the title on either national TV or at this pay-per-view. He shouldn't have won the title at Madison Square Garden. It makes no sense. Yes, great TV, great television. The crowd, the fans were hyped to get behind AJ after becoming the U.S. champion. But then you still have Kevin Owens, who's pretty much on top of his game since coming to the WWE. It hasn't been a time or an era since coming to the WWE. Kevin Owens hasn't had a title, a belt, some type of gold wrapped around him. So, would I have gave the title to... No. That was an asinine move. I feel as though you could do a lot more with Kevin. And you also could do a lot more with AJ. I feel as though this feud should not even have happened. I feel as though a Todd Dillinger, a Dolph Ziggler could be inside this spot that AJ is in right now, being showcased in a totally different way. You could have had AJ going up against a, let's see here. You could have AJ going up against a Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, or the Baron Corbin for the Money in the Bank briefcase. So many things you could have did instead of doing AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens. That's just my opinion. Quick breakdown to this match. Forgive me. Before we get to the pin, Kevin Owens has AJ over his head looking like he was going for the Alabama Slam. But he throws AJ into the ref. The ref is now knocked out. AJ and Kevin Owens' technical skills was on display here when they go into a calf crusher from AJ. Kevin Owens reverses it, goes into a crossface from Kevin Owens, back into the calf crusher until Kevin Owens reversed that and puts AJ inside of a Northern like suplex pin, which, if angled the right way or the wrong way, it would appear to have both these men elbows on the back of the mat. AJ never lost his title. Because if you came on the other side of Kevin Owens, you would see that Owens' shoulders was both on the mat, which means that they both should have got pinned. It should have been a draw, which would have left AJ with the title. That's what should have happened. But yet and still, they gave it to fucking Kevin Owens. I don't have a problem with the title being on Kevin Owens. I never would have took it the fuck off of him if he was going to give it back to him 2 weeks later. That makes no fucking sense. Moving on to the next match. I picked AJ in that one anyway. Rusev versus John Cena in a flag match. We all knew John Cena was going to win this match. You don't have one of your top guys come back. One of your most patriotic guys. There we go. Apologize for the tongue tie. One of your most patriotic guys come back and lose to a Rusev, who already got heat from being a outsider of America. He's from Bulgaria, supporter of Russia. You already got